Spot. It's been a while, or shall I say, been a long time, but I'm back. I haven't been away from the camera, nor have I been away from the labor of confronting some of the conflicts, controversies, attitudes, and behaviors that continue to affect our daily lives. And that's important because our health is important. How we interact with one another is important. And pretty much, today's subject matter is on depression. There are a lot of things happening in our society today, and especially in the area of relationship development. When you look at unity, when you look at disunity, there's something behind all of that. There's an inability that exists. There's an inability there that exists for people to engage one another. And we have to look at this from an individual perspective as opposed to as a group. Because when you get a group of people together who have a lot of unresolved, who have a whole lot of mental health challenges going on, who have substance abuse challenges going on, and related conditions, because when you fail to take care of your mental health challenges, then other areas of your life become affected, greatly affected. When you add on substance misuse, then you are also increasing more of the challenge that one is faced with. And those are the related conditions. Related conditions can be homelessness, related conditions can be joblessness, relationships being broken between your partner, you and your children, other family members. It's a whole trickle-down process that begins to happen. And sometimes for some it happens very rapidly, because then the other piece is there are medical conditions that also begin to play a significant part in one's health. So you can spiral downwards within a matter of a month to 2 months and not even see it, because depression just kind of drags everything out of you. It just, drags, literally drags everything. Life drags, and before you know it, you're sitting on the pavement, on the curb, with your head in your hands, wondering how you got there. How you got there. I don't know about you, but I'm having had my own challenges with depression. We're going to talk about 2 different types of depression today, but having had my own bouts with depression and anxiety. And anxiety is a whole nother show that we're going to we'll have this discussion on. It's something else, man, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. But the point is, once you know what it is that you're faced with, once you know what it is that you're dealing with, it becomes a lot easier. It becomes a whole lot easier. And listen, some people just think they just have the blues, that it's just kind of, maybe it's the weather, maybe I'm just going through something. And that's the key right there. People so easily say, well, I'm just going through some things, and don't realize what they're going through. Haven't been able to identify what they're going through. And for us, black folks don't go to a counselor. Let's call it what it is. Black folks do not go to counselor. We will sit down in the barbershop. We will sit down at the hair salon. We will sit down in the bar. We will sit down in the park. Not go and get any clinical assistance. And we need to stop doing that. We need to start going to our doctors and stop just getting medications, but we need to start going to see psychologists. Listen, if you have to see a psychiatrist, see one. It's called help. Period. It's help. And especially for men don't go get help. And that's part of our conditioning as well. So a lot of times we want to keep, bashing people upside the head because of a conditioning that they have. instead of us understanding and trying to work people away from that condition. Men not asking for help is not something we just popped out of the womb doing. Our parents were very instrumental in this happening. Our parents are very instrumental. Society is very instrumental in doing all of that. Women are very instrumental in teaching us as boys, as males, to be like that. Fathers are even more instructional in teaching males to not cry, to, stop being so emotional, stop acting like some little girl. You act like a sissy. What is a sissy? Explain that one to me. What is a sissy? We don't even see ourselves, some of the things that we're doing. But that, again, that's a whole nother discussion. So SAs SPOT is back, and you'll be hearing more on topics such as that. Situational depression is also referred to as adjustment disorder, and it makes sense because it's easier to understand for some people. If you say situational, we tend to use the word situation in so many different venues. Well, my situation right now is that I'm with so and so, and that's good because then you can be able to identify that your situation may be the culprit and why you're feeling the way you do. The adjustment disorder concept kind of lets you know that something is taking place or something has taken place in your life, and you are trying to make the adjustment to the situation. Get it? So you almost use them interchangeably, but something has happened. Something has happened in your life that you are having some difficulty with. One of the things here it talks about is for like ending a relationship. Ending a relationship or ending a marriage. And that relationship can be with a significant other. That relationship can be with a job. That relationship can be with a family member. Sometimes when we move away, people kind of say, okay, well, it's a wrap for us because you're moving to another state. I won't be able to see you. I won't be able to have that contact with you, and I'm talking about physical contact with you, and that can be difficult. You begin to look at life a lot differently. So then you look at some of the symptoms that come as a result of that. Feeling sad, empty, or tearful. Sometimes you may not cry, but sometimes you just sit and you just want, it's just like you feel the tears in your eyes, you're welling up, you feel them about to burst out of you, and men will suck it up, and go get a drink, or go get a drug, or go get a woman, and self-medicate. One of the other symptoms is losing interest or not getting pleasure from your usual daily activities, things that you used to enjoy. You don't go hang out and play ball anymore. I'm good. I don't feel like it. I'm a chill. You sit in front of the TV all day between Netflix, cable, video games, or just sitting there. Sometimes you just find yourself staring blankly at the screen. Whether you're sitting in front of the computer, whether you're sitting in front of the television, sometimes you just sit there, and before you know it, it's been like half a day, and you haven't done anything. You haven't showered. You haven't really eaten. Your phone is ringing. You disregard the calls. You look over the ashtray. It's full of cigarette butts. You got alcohol bottles sitting all around. You come over, you have company, and you have mad sex. I'm not talking about mad in terms of, we getting it in kind of sex. I'm talking about mad, angry. Because for men, depression shows up a whole lot different than for women. It's a whole lot different for men. You know, men are more expressive in terms of irritability and anger, which is not a good thing, because what typically happens for men, and I'll read it here, signs of depression in men may include irritability, anger, or drug and alcohol abuse can also be a cause of depression rather than the result of it. So we're going to come back to that in a minute, because there's a whole linkage to drug and alcohol use to a depressive disorder that is never looked at as well. What else? So it's representing, here we are, repressing their feelings can result in violent behavior directed both inwardly and outwardly. It can also result in increase in illness, suicide, and homicide. Illness, suicide, and homicide. This is what happens for men. This is what may happen for men who are depressed. Who are depressed. Who are depressed. Now, the thing with adjustment disorder or situational disorder is the length of time that it lingers. See, because what happens is it takes a minute for it to kick in. Then once it kicks in, oftentimes it doesn't last very long, because you begin doing some self-talk. You begin telling yourself, like, I'm glad she's gone, I'm sick of her, I got to go through none of that no more. Or you just so easy to pick up somebody else, and pretty much it's a wrap. And that's for men and women. So I'm not just talking about men doing it, because women do it too. It's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. And I use that analogy a lot because we don't realize that when we put anything in place of the pain, that the pain hasn't been dealt with. It hasn't been dealt with. You just put a topical anesthetic on it. That's all you've done. Because underneath of all of that is an unresolved. And that unresolved gets suppressed. It gets suppressed. And it gets pushed down so far that by the other things that we are replacing it with, that we stop dealing with it. We stop dealing with it. And what eventually happens is we forget about it. And we move on. So we think. So we think. We really haven't moved on. We're still in that same, we're still in the same place from when that traumatic incident happened. We're still in the same place. We're still in the same space. We've just moved the space and the place along with us. You understand what I'm saying here? So you haven't changed the condition. You just altered it. That's all. You just actually altered the situation. So you're still hurt. You're still broke up about whatever happened. You have not brought closure to the situation. And if it involves someone else, and it's a situation where you broke up, for instance, the relationship, the marriage broke up, and you guys haven't sat down and had a conversation about what happened, and apologies are exchanged. You didn't give each other a hug, because it wasn't always that way. If something happened, whatever it was that happened, people make mistakes. That's just the bottom line. So to walk around and hate somebody because they acted out of one of their less endearing traits, I mean, listen, it happens. It happens, you move on. And that should be an expectation when being involved with another person. When being involved with anything outside of yourself, that these things are going to fail us. These things are going to disappoint us. These things are going to it happens. But if you don't bring closure to these situations, they continue to linger. They continue to fester within. Sometimes it turns into anger. Sometimes it makes us even more depressed. Sometimes it stays beyond a fixed period of time, which then makes it turn into a major depression. A major depression. See, it's one thing for a circumstance to happen and you put a band-aid on it and you continue to move forward. It's another thing to intermittently go regress back to the situation and don't let it go. Don't find closure within yourself about it. Don't find any relief from it. And the next thing you know, you stop doing other things. So that band-aid that you put on the bullet wound is no longer working. That wound continued to seep, and it saturated the band-aid to the point of it just fell off. So now you're just sitting there just leaking. You're just leaking all over yourself. You're leaking all over your family members. You're leaking all over your colleagues at work. You're leaking all over community members. But what I want you to begin to look at is, I want you to begin to look at what's happening in your life. I want you to just really listen. This is important. This is so important because there are so many of us. Listen, I really need for you to listen. There are so many of us whose lives are affected by depression. Whether it's clinical depression, whether it's adjustment disorder, whatever it is, whether it's minor, major, moderate, whatever it is, we have to get a grip on it before it gets a grip on us. We really do. So this is real important. You need to begin to see some of the signs. Are you not hanging out like you used to? Sometimes people are, and you know, we need to look at this. Sometimes people will justify and rationalize themselves into a deeper depression. For instance, you're used to going out to the club every Friday or Saturday with your friends, hanging out. I mean, just listen. Not necessarily to the club, but you know, to after work. You go and have the happy hour thing that goes on. You go out. Now you don't do it as frequently. You haven't been in the last couple of weeks, and you say, "Oh well, you know, I'm kind of outgrowing that," and you know, or maybe I'm outgrowing that, or you know, maybe I'm just getting tired of going to that place. We need to go someplace different, and y'all don't go any place different. And then even when they do decide to go somewhere different, you're like, oh well, I don't know. And you need to start looking at those things. Okay, family. You're used to doing a lot of things with your family. You're family oriented, and you know you would be going over to see this family member on this particular day, or that family member. You kind of made your rounds and was staying in touch with family. You would talk to people on a regular basis, and now you're not talking to them as frequently. You know, there are some who talk to a certain family member like every day, and sometimes your call will be lengthy. Your call time has gotten shorter, or you don't call as frequently, or after a few minutes of being on the phone, well, let me call you back because I got to do such and such, because you just really don't feel like having the dialogue. Because as you're sitting there talking, your condition is overwhelming you, and it begins to take the life out of you, and therefore you just, I don't feel like doing this right now. Or times when you would go food shopping, go to the market, you just run in to grab a few things. You don't have the time, you don't have the patience. Your patience is now short because you're like irritable. Because like, I really don't feel like doing this. I really don't. I'd rather be home, just sitting down, just like, I don't want to be doing this. And so you know, now you're going in and you're just grabbing things, and you know, if you're taking your partner with you, you're taking your children with you, you don't have patience with them. Well, just go ahead, you just go ahead and get that. I'm gonna go over here and get this, and now everything has to be hurried, or like you just don't have the energy and effort to put into dealing with this. I don't want to read labels. I don't want to think about, well, what we're going to have this weekend. I don't want to think about any of that. Pick something. We've been doing this for years. Why are you asking me all these questions? Whoa, babe, you good? What's happening with that? What do you mean? No, I just want to go. I don't. All right. Okay. So you see things like that beginning to happen. Your personal care. Yes, you still shower, but the time and the effort that you used to put into brushing your waves, pressing your hair, putting on the makeup, getting your nails done. Look at your nails. Look down right now. Let's look at your nails. When's the last time your nails were done? Yeah, look at your nails. When's the last time they were done? Look at your edges. Look at your skin. Because another thing begins to happen is diet. Our diet changes. Many of us begin to not eat, and we begin to experience a loss of weight, right? Many of us binge eat because now we're emotional eating. That's what I call it, emotional eating. I forget the clinical term for it, but listen, you are so depressed that you just sit and you just eat. You eat all the wrong foods. And most of the time you eat all the wrong foods because you just don't feel like cooking. So you order out. Because, you know, the kids, well, Mom, what are we going to eat? Dad, what are we going to eat? And just listen, the menu's downstairs. And so now you're eating wrong. And you're just eating everything and you're beginning to gain weight. That's even more depressing because now once you put it on, damn, I can't get this off. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to do this. Now I have all this weight. But the other piece with ordering out is now you're becoming financially unmanageable because that causes you to spend more money. You could take $20 and go buy a 5-pound bag of fish from ShopRite, a few vegetables, and you know, a couple of starches, and that's a meal for a few days with $20. With $20, I can pretty much get enough food for the week because it's how you eat. You don't have to be gluttonous about it. We're too gluttonous in our eating habits, and that's a whole nother discussion, which is another thing that takes the life out of us. Because if your body is always working, because you're always eating, your body is not getting what it needs. So even while you're sleeping, your body is still having to work because you keep putting all this food in. But then the other aspect is the wastefulness of money. Because you used to go shopping. So now, as opposed to spending $160 at the market, getting enough food maybe for 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the family size, but that's not happening anymore. Now you're spending that on average a week. Stopping to Dunkin' Donuts or wherever you're going in the morning to get breakfast. Stopping at one of these other Mickey D's or some other Burger King, one of these other places to get food. Unhealthy foods. Unhealthy foods. Unhealthy foods. They're unhealthy. Period. They're not healthy foods. But you're going to these places and this is what you're doing. You're ordering hoagies. You're getting chicken wings from the local places. You have no idea what you're putting in yourself. You're just eating all this stuff. Grease that's been sitting for months, that has been filtered and screened and strained over and over again just to get everything that could possibly get out of it. But you'll eat the same food over and over again. You really fail to know the difference between clean grease and old grease because it doesn't matter. Hunger is hunger. And you lose sight of those things when you're not cooking at home. So if you're not cooking at home, start cooking at home and you'll start seeing a difference in everything about yourself. But so now you're financially unmanageable. Your health is deteriorating. So if your health is deteriorating because you're eating poorly, what does it mean for the possibility of medical conditions? Type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all those things. Those things only add to your depressive condition. They only add to. Now we're talking about alcohol use, only adding to your depression. Only adding. Alcohol is a depressant. So if you're already depressed in condition and you drink, what do you think that's going to do for you? Well, yeah, you can get drunk and become oblivious to what's going on for the moment, but when you wake up in the morning, when you come to in the morning, that situation is still there, unresolved within you. That condition is still there, unresolved within you. So if it was a break of a relationship and you wake up in the morning, that person is not laying next to you. That good morning kiss is not there. You don't hear the shower going. You don't smell the coffee. You don't hear the clanging of cookware down in the kitchen. You don't see the shoes on the side of the bed. You don't see the garments hanging off of the door. You don't see those things. Getting out of that bed, man, is an exercise in survival. Because I just can't, I don't understand. I just don't understand. Why is she not here? I'm talking to men right now. We have to start asking for help. We have to. We have to stop grooming our boys in the manner that we have. We're human beings. We need to learn how to teach our boys. And I say learn, we need to learn how to teach our boys to be nurturing, to be loving and caring. I mean in every aspect of the words. Love is just not me having sex with you and me just paying bills and me giving you a hug every now and then. That's not love, man. Love also encompasses me taking care of myself. You know, medically, I need to take care of myself. Emotionally, I need to take care of myself. Mentally, I need to take care of myself. Spiritually, I need to take care of myself. All these things greatly impact my psyche. Therefore, it is so important right now that if you're watching this video, men, listen to what I'm saying to you. Go ask for help. Clinical help. Go see a psychologist. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. Stop. Right now. Stop this. Not asking for help. Stop all this. I'm going to take it from the chin. I'm a man up. No. Manning up means being responsible for every aspect of self. That's manning up, if you want to use the term. Manning up is not me stepping up to the plate and all this other stuff that people keep using. That's a whole nother discussion. Man up, for me, take care of myself. Prostate exams, other assessments for whatever other medical conditions, diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, sugar. Get those things checked. Get those things checked. You have to be healthy in order to protect your family. You know, you have to be healthy in order to be able to perform with your family and participate in things with your family. You know, if those things are not happening, then what are you around for? You're just there. You're just there. But the other thing is, you have to understand this. My feelings get hurt. I cry. I feel abandoned. I feel neglected. I feel elated. I feel, you know, happy, ecstatic, whatever. I go through all those things, and I need to feel those things because those things are part of my condition. But if I'm only sitting back feeling anger, irritability, frustration, hopelessness, sadness, if that's all I'm feeling, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. If I'm experiencing those things, I need to address them. That doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to outweigh the goodness that I'm feeling. But if I'm experiencing those things in any capacity, I need to bring resolve to those things. I need to bring resolve to those things. We need to start teaching our boys to be loving and caring and nurturing and be expressive in their emotions and stop being so angry. This is also something that contributes to the ongoing demise of marriage, the whole institution of marriage, the whole concept of male-female relationships. Depression has a lot to do with this. It has a lot to do with this because you start using drugs, alcohol, and other things to self-medicate. You have no consistency, no longevity with anything because you have no balance in your life. You have to bring balance to your life. And the only way you're going to bring balance to your life is if you sit down and take a realistic look at your life. Sit down, look in the mirror, ask yourself, do I look like me? Do I really look like me? Thank you again. Welcome back to SAs SPOT. I'll see you next week. Peace.